The statewide flex alert has been extended now through Friday. The extreme heat is straining our state's power grid, and Cal ISO is urging people to conserve energy. The power operator says the heat is only going to get worse in the next few days, so we can assume these flex alerts are going to continue through at least the early part of next week. State officials are asking people to cut back on electricity use between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. during these flex alerts. Cal ISO says you should set the thermostats to 78 degrees or higher if health allows. Avoid using large appliances, don't charge cars, and turn off unnecessary lights during that time. And all this heat has many people concerned about how it could lead to power outages, either because of overheated equipment or forced outages because too much electricity is being used. That's why we have the Flex Alert to try to prevent that. KRON 4's Dan Kerman live for us tonight in Burlingame with details on how you can tell if you may be impacted and when. And Dan, it must be hot because you've dusted off the short sleeve shirt.
I have dusted off the short sleeve shirt and taken off the tie. I know it's a first for many, but you have to do it in this kind of heat. Power outages, as you mentioned, that's what we're talking about here, and there are two different kinds. The ones you don't know are coming when equipment overheats, and those are expected in the next few days. We'll tell you when and where. And the other kind are those rotating outages. None of them are planned at this point, but if Cal ISO so deems, that means utilities are going to have to start shutting off power because too much is going out of that grid. Now, the question is, could you be one of those houses that would be involved in a rotating outage? Well, there's a way to find out. As the sun and heat beat down on California, concerns about the electrical grid intensify. Cal ISO is hoping Thursday and Friday's flex alerts will be as successful as Wednesday's, meaning enough people will cut back on electricity so as not to jolt California's energy grid into emergency territory. If that were to happen, Cal ISO could order rotating power outages, requiring PG&E and California's other major utility companies to cut power to certain communities. Could you be impacted?
We encourage customers to go to our website, pge.com/rotating outages.
On PG&E's website, there's an online tool where you can plug in your address and find out if you could be impacted if Cal ISO calls for a rotating outage. While many addresses could be impacted, more than half are listed in what's called Block 50, meaning they will likely not be included in a rotating outage because they share a circuit with a hospital or another essential facility. But rotating outages are not the only concern. This heat all by itself could cause outages.
Transformers will heat up during the day, and generally overnight they have a chance to cool down. And when it's so hot that the weather does not cool down enough for these machines to have a chance to cool down, that can lead to equipment failure, and that's when we'll see unplanned power outages due to heat.
Right now, PG&E's weather forecasting team believes most of the Bay Area should be free of heat-related outages through Sunday. But come Monday and Tuesday, the North, South, and East Bay, basically everybody but San Francisco, could see heat-related outages, and PG&E is now preparing for that.
We will make sure that we have crews standing by in the areas that are expected to be most impacted. We'll also activate our emergency centers if necessary so that we have people working 24/7, monitoring the conditions, getting crews out to the right locations if needed.
So again, if we're looking at those occasional outages caused by heat, PG&E says at this point they're not forecasting those to happen probably until Monday or Tuesday. In terms of those rotating outages, which would be forced by Cal ISO at this point, none planned. But again, you can go online, plug in your address, and see if it does happen, if you could be impacted. Live in Burlingame, Dan Kerman, KRON 4 News.